So, a woman died during Zoom yoga, and nobody noticed. She fell from against the wall during the dolphin pose. We were all on mute, and nobody heard the thud. Her screen name read only iPad. I kept waiting for her to get back up, but she didn't. I'd been savoring a glass of Malbec and munching on some sour cream and onion chips. A few weeks after Zoom classes started, I stopped full screening the teacher and opted for a more entertaining gallery view where I could watch everyone struggle while I breezed through the peak pose challenge sequence. Not really. I was terrible at yoga. I ordered a mat online that says fuck yoga. I drank wine and ate olives straight from the jar. Some days I would paint my toenails in the forward fold, and occasionally I would just lay down on my fuck yoga mat and take a nap. iPad's camera adjusted so that she was silhouetted, and then there was her face again. No one could go that long without blinking. So I threw on a robe, turned my camera on, and unmuted myself. By the third fiscal quarter of 2021, 3.3 trillion meeting minutes had been held on Zoom. While this is an incredible development in technology in terms of allowing hundreds of people to communicate all at once, it can also be damaging to the communication processes we have developed as humans. An article from the Wall Street Journal written by Kim Walsh in May of 2020 explains that Zoom is disrupting the typical communication patterns humans have developed for survival. Walsh goes on to explain that communication among humans requires synchrony, something that Zoom does not fully allow for when we look at things like full body language and other forms of nonverbal communication. Without this synchrony, it can be nearly impossible to know whether or not the people you're talking to on Zoom actually understand what you're trying to say. In this piece, our main character witnesses something traumatic over a Zoom call that is impossible to communicate over the platform. Zoom Yoga by Lisa Monroy. Excuse me, does anyone here know that person? iPad, can you hear me? Allie Mae Vismaya Schumann came down from her own dolphin pose and approached the screen. Yoginis, please remember to keep yourselves muted throughout the entire practice, especially during challenging poses. I had been muted by the host. Now bring yourselves down. Use the wall if you're using it. Let the intensity of final postures fall away. I waved my arms around trying to get anyone's attention. Rick Johnson or Dave Spitz or Carol's iPhone, but no one noticed me. Allie turned on our final relaxation music, instructing us to let everything go and focus only on breath. But I pinned iPad's screen, searching for any indication of her identity. As meditation music played, Allie Mae Vismaya Schumann's attention remained on her phone, and then she made a call. I saw her lips moving as she walked right out of frame. I Googled Allie Mae Vismaya Schumann, Yoga San Francisco, and I found her photo and bio. With a few clicks and keystrokes on Facebook, I found Ali Mavis Maya Schumann, international yoga instructor and Clear Channels coach. So I messaged her, and I stared at the unread message. Everyone blissed out in the Savasanas except for me. iPad and Ali Mavis Maya Schumann, who was still nowhere to be found. I'd seen a movie once about a woman in England who died in her apartment, and she wasn't found for 2 years. By then, a pile of bones, publicized for being unknown, but iPad, one person knew about her. And I felt like it was my responsibility to try to locate iPad before she rotted in her apartment, and I don't know, her cat ate her face. She does have a cat, a big fluffy one that paces in the background during practices. Maybe iPad wasn't dead, just paralyzed, and I could save her. Would that be worse, though? To be alive, but paralyzed, trapped in your own body, and home with the only person who knew about it being a stranger on a Zoom call. The meditation music stopped, and my house fell silent. As class participants signed off, iPad's box on my screen grew bigger and bigger until the only 2 boxes left were hers and mine. Her face took up half of my screen, and her expression was one of bemusement and wonder, as if to say, so I fell and snapped my neck. Isn't life so unpredictable and strange? I'd never seen a dead person so up close and personal before. And yet this is the same sensation of unreality that comes with watching television. Ali Mavis Maya Schumann walked back in, still on the phone, and she, enthralled in her conversation, walked up and closed her laptop without even looking at it. iPad was gone, and so was I. My phone alerted me to a message from Ali Mavis Maya Schumann. Oh no! I don't know what you think you saw, but I'm really sorry that you think you saw that. I don't know who it could have been. I have thousands of followers, and tonight's class was 93 of us. I'm sure everything is just fine. Namaste, AMVS. I didn't see iPad in any of the following Zooms, though. I kept copy-pasting the meeting ID, taking every yoga class throughout the remainder of the quarantine, but I never got any better at yoga. But some days, I'll be on a Tinder date or eating lunch by my office, and I'll see someone with waxy skin and blue-gray eyes, and I'll think, maybe that's her. Is that her? Could that be her?